She means ordinary people, not angels.
Yeah, some people will. It's all about free will. If the person wants to come back right away, then they can come back. But they're not forced to. It's up to them entirely. It's kind of like my husband. He's was born in 1945.
Mm-hmm.
He's always had an absolute fear of drowning, and never in his life has he had any kind of near drowning or anything. His mom said. So he had one day, about 10 years ago. He had a dream 3 nights in a row. He was on the Arizona, and he was walking through water like you walk through air. And the big topic of conversation is, why didn't they come for us? Because, they entombed those men down there below decks. They all died. He says, then I'm up on the monument, and I'm running my finger down, and I find my name, and I wake up. He said, but I can't remember the name. He said, can you get me a list of the men that died on the Arizona? It's like 18 pages worth of names.
Right.
And I said, okay. So I gave it to him. He says, this is it, page 13. He's like, this is who I was. This is a man who can't, if you can't touch it, feel it, or see it, it doesn't exist. So he said, this is who I was. And the name on it was Raymond Arthur Roby. I named my son after my grandfather, Ray Arthur Palmer. No such thing as coincidence. So he was, the Arizona was sunk in 1941, and he came back in 1945, was reborn in 45. So that's really, on the other side, that's quick. It's almost like a immediate turnaround.
I swear sometimes that I think my grandmother was reborn into my daughter, Lindsay, because there are things that she says that my grandmother would have said. There's things that she does that makes me want to knock the crap out of her, just like I would have wanted to knock the crap out of my grandmother. So, and
she may very well.
Well, my grandmother died 4 days before she was born, waiting for her to be born.
The soul doesn't go into the body for absolute finality until the birth, because the soul goes in and out of the body while the fetus is still growing and learning. So it may very well be.
Yeah, and then to make it even more fun, when my grandson was born, less than 36 hours later, my mom passed.
Yeah.
So I have one daughter I look at, and I see my grandmother, and I have a grandson that I look at, and I see my mother.
Yep.
So we have complete balance in our family in some sense, I guess. So we have some more questions in the chat room. The first thing I have is, what is your opinion of dowsing rods?
Well, they're pretty good at finding water. And they can, because of the EMF, they pick up on that. So, if there's a ghost present, but actually it's just like the output instrument, because the person's probably sensitive, and so what they're getting is running through and going into the rods. It's kind of like doing a Ouija board. What it does is it amplifies the individual person's abilities, and so you can pick up on all kinds of things. You can also pick up on bad ones, but the one thing I will say is that anybody who uses anything for communication, whether it be tarot cards, a pendulum rod, or just sitting there and opening yourself up, everything creates a portal, and it opens a door. So before you do anything like that, you need to ask for God's protection and his blessing on the communication. And once it's over, once you stop, then you need to thank him and ask that the door be closed. People do not close the door. I get called in so many times because people do not close the door. They'll get on the Ouija board, or they'll do a seance, and then you'll get things coming in. And They're like, I don't understand why. Let me think about that one.
Oh yeah, you're letting all them bugs in.
Yep.
So yeah, I totally understand. And here's your next question from Carl again. Thank you, Carl. What do you think about the equipment that investigators use?
I mean, people can use spirit boxes. I work with every now and then I work with that another group, and they use like spirit boxes and digital recorders, and I have a night vision camera. I have a digital recorder. What it does is it validates what I pick up. I mean, I have on my website you can hear recordings of demons screaming. It's when I take them out, I usually end up recording my session, whatever where I'm going doing removal, and it usually picks them up screaming or growling or something. So, like when I was on the Ghost Adventures, the guy Billy's was my cameraman, and he's like, we're standing over by the corner where the dark portal is, and he's like, he heard a growl. He's like, what is that? I said, oh, nothing, just a demon. He's like, I don't want to hear that. I'm like, oh, you don't.
Yeah, and the thing is he has on he's taping it live. He also has on an earpiece where he can hear what's being taped, so he knows that he's hearing it magnified and in stereo.
Right.
So he knows that he's hearing something. He just doesn't know what he's hearing. And so you validate, because other people that are in the room may not be hearing it as clear as he is.
Exactly. He's got the earpiece in there, and was my camera guy, and he's like, I don't want to hear that anymore. And then part they don't show is when we're right before when I go to take the sight from Zach, and Aaron goes up those stairs because he hears something. There's nothing up there; it's just dead end.
Mm-hmm.
Billy hollers out. It's like, oh my God, that hurts. And what it was is I said, it was a high pitched frequency, wasn't it? And he says, yeah. He says, what is it? I said, that's how you non-hearing people hear demons. And he's like, oh, I don't like that. I'm like, yeah, I know.
That's what that high pitched sound is?
Yep. When people hear them, they'll get like this high pitched frequency in one ear or the other, sometimes both. With him, it was the left ear. And it's like, I'm like, I said, it's just a demon. I said, I hear it all the time, but I hear the actual words. And they're not nice. They call you everything but a white woman.
And what Kat asks is, does it vibrate the eardrum too?
It does, yeah. Because even though nobody else can hear it, you can hear it.
Because it's a sub noise.
Right. And they're like breathing in your ear.
Because I have that happen way more often than I thought. I thought I had, tinnitus or something, but I don't have it all the time. If I had tinnitus, it would be ringing my ears all the time.
Yeah, that's how they talk. I mean, that's how people that can't hear what I hear them. Or they'll hear a growl or a guttural sound. That's all the demons. That's how they wish to be perceived. So
we got about 6 minutes left. So I'm going to let this be up to you. What's coming up for you? What's next?
I'm working on 4 books right now. One of them is the sequel to the first one, A Medium's Guide. It's called Through the Veil. It delves further into like what happens when you die. It also talks about the Ark of the Covenant and the crystal skulls and things like that. And I have a sequel that I'm working on to The Dark Side. And I haven't figured out what I'm going to call it yet, other than, little known facts about the dark side. It goes a little bit deeper in depth of some of the, interesting facts that I've accumulated over the years, over the 20-some years of doing it. And then I have one called Demons, The Life of a Demon Seer. So basically, it talks about my life and, how I became what I am and why I do the things I do. And it's So,
Are you going to any conferences or anything where people can come and see you?
yeah, we're having the Oregon Ghost Conference, which is one of the biggest ones on the West Coast. It's March 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And I'll be speaking there, and I'll have a booth there. And I think so far that's what I have going on right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I know that you're going to be making the rounds on the, radio shows and YouTube shows out there, because I know everybody's going to want to talk to you, because like I said, I thought that, well, seeing Zach having to, they made it look like it was overnight, like he had left,
Yeah,
because that's how it looked to me. It looked like they had left and it was the next day, and like he was calling in sick for work the next day. Okay. So isn't that how it looked to you?
Yeah, but it all happened the same day.
Right. But like I said, if you're not there, you don't know.
Even parts of the investigation, we didn't do just that one area. We actually went the full length of the building where there was another portal towards the back. And Aaron says, "Oh my God, there's something that moved back there." And I'm like, "Yeah." Said, "There's a portal back there, and there's a lesser demon." So he's like, he goes through this hole in this wooden wall. And he's like, "Oh my God, dude!" He said, "It's changed. I can feel the heaviness. I can't stay in here." So then I removed a few little scraggly guys out of there, and so there was actually like another 20 minutes worth of investigation, which they've actually kind of merged in with some of it with their quote unquote investigation.
Well, like I said, I thought it was interesting enough, but the thing is I booked you before I even knew that you were going to be on Ghost Adventures.
Yep.
You knew because you had said, "Hey, I'm going to be on Ghost Adventures in September," but
yeah,
I booked you. Shoot, I don't even know when it was. I think it was back in June or July.
Yeah, something like that. What people don't know either is that when I filmed the Ghost Adventure thing, I was 5 days out of cancer surgery.
Oh, wow.
So I was 5 days after colon cancer surgery. So I wasn't at my best.
So on your colon cancer surgery, I'm going to ask you, how are you doing?
Oh, they got it all. I was fortunate enough to where it was down in the rectal area, so they were actually able to go in and cut out the sections and sew it back together, and they said that I have a 0 to 1% chance of it ever reoccurring. So,
well, woohoo! Good news.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. So, I would say that's the shits, but that wouldn't be a good thing to say.
I told him, I said, I'm going to get a complex here.
But I'm happy for you. That is really good news. So, you guys go out there to mysticconnections.org, I believe it is. Let me go and check. Make sure. Yep, mysticconnections.org. All of her websites are interconnected through that, and you can find out anything that you want to know. She's also got she provides services out there and merchandise. You can buy some of those black salt necklaces if you want. You can schedule her for a reading. You can buy her books. They're all on Amazon. Like I said, I think that I'm going to wait for the update to come on the first book that she wrote, because I think that one sounds amazing. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know about any of you, but you can go out there and check out her other books. Paranormal Encounters, book 1 and 2 are out there as well, so you can check those out. And for those of you waiting for the book that I'm involved in, I still haven't heard, so I hope that I can tell you that I'm a published author next week. So we'll find out. So everyone, please tune in next week to when I interview my friends Clarissa Vasquez and David Carr. If you guys listened to me when I covered for Sean Whittington, I'm going to be interviewing them again. So you'll be able to hear them on my network as opposed to on someone else's. So if you have any questions for Clarissa and David, you better get working on them. So thank you so much.